Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be talking about something that makes me upset. This is now my second time recording because I yap a little bit too much, okay? I admit it. Sometimes I talk a little bit too much. Anyways, this post specifically is not the thing I am super mad about, by the way. It's slightly annoying to me, but I don't want to make it seem like this person specifically is what I'm mad about, or this post. So if this person is watching, I'm so sorry to put you on the spotlight here. You're not the reason, okay? You're not. it just reminded me of a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for like a long time, and finally I'm doing it, even though there's not whatever. We're gonna talk about it today. I want to talk about Minecraft event scene in total, mostly blockwars and MCC because they're the most popular and have to deal with it the most. The main topic at hand: entitlement. Look. It pisses me off. Sometimes, not specifically you guys, but sometimes people in the event community, especially on Reddit and sometimes on Discord, you guys you're a little bit too entitled, okay? Lower your expectations, please, because it's impossible to hold up with, okay? I cannot believe sometimes how delusional people are, and maybe this is just a thing that I've learned from being an event host and, seeing the inner mechanics of how things are created. Things are, maintained. How much effort does it take to just have an event run every single month? Because it's not just like, oh, turn the button on and it works, because things love to break. And also, what changes and what. Anyways, back to the topic. I need to stop yapping for too much, so I will keep it straight, focused. Sometimes entitlement sucks. Sometimes people are wrong on the Reddit. Sometimes you're right, but most of the time you're wrong. One main thing with entitlement, if you don't know what it means, by the way, Google it. I tried explaining it in the recording before, and it took like 2 minutes because I was rambling my words. So you look it up yourself. The thing with entitlement that is the main thing that annoys me is that people set expectations for what's to come in events, or people make it seem like changing something is easier than it actually is. People just it makes me mad, okay? It's hard to explain, but it makes me mad. It's hard to explain without going on for 20 minutes. Anyways, this post, for example, says how to fix order up. A title like this makes me upset simply because it gives off the impression that you think that you could, do this all yourself, I guess. You think you're better than the people who are making this event, potentially. Obviously, that's maybe not your intention, and I don't want to make it seem like that's the case, but something like how to fix order up as the title, and then the first line being, so no one's favorite game is order up, right? Doesn't give off the best impression, okay? It boils anger in my brain, okay? It makes me mad. Anyways, I just think, you can have the opinion of not liking order up, and that's completely fine. Obviously, the comments have been defending order up and thinking that, it's actually pretty decent. Within the genre it's like filling in, which is a pure communication team game, it's probably one of the better picks. I don't think there's a lot of competition. There's like Build Mart, but I think it's pretty good. For what it is good. Do I think it's as good as like Sky Battle or Sands of Time, whatever? No, of course not, but I like it. Okay, I like Order Up. So a post like this makes me mad simply because title like this makes me angry, and this first line makes me angry, and I just wanted to talk about it because sometimes there's been posts on like the MCC Reddit. Speaking of MCC Reddit, we'll get to that in a bit as well. There's been posts on the MCC Reddit being like, oh, Fruitberries on stream said to not be don't be so aggressive at him. Don't if he does bad, you don't have to tell him. That applies to the freaking event staff as well. The Fruitberries thing example that I mentioned, very valid. I agree. I also talked about it before. But that still applies to the event hosts as well, okay? Just because you can't be, super critical of the players doesn't mean that you can instead be super critical of the people behind the event, okay? You can't be like, oh, this one game that's filling a role that is pretty hard to fill, I don't like it that much, so they should replace it, fix it, burn it in the ground, and freaking replace it with Sky Battle 2, okay? That's the only way. I'm just rambling, but that's the main premise of what I'm trying to say, is sometimes things are not easy to fix. And sometimes things you think need to be fixed shouldn't be fixed. Maybe you're just in the minority in terms of having an opinion. Maybe people love Order Up, and maybe like 80% of people really like it and 20% don't. Or maybe other way around. Maybe 80% of people don't like it and 20% don't. But I haven't seen that reflected in like feedback and people's opinions. I think for the most part people are cool with it. So I don't know. Anyways, off of Block Wars topic, to MCC as well. You see the ideas on MCC as well for like how to fix this, how to do this. This post in specific is not actually that bad. It's actually pretty alright. It does set an expectation that is a little unrealistic. Their thing. Their title's a lot better. A potential fun game for Season 4 is way better because it's a suggestion rather than an expectation. How to fix Order Up implies that it needs to be fixed, and this is how. Rather than, hey, I have an idea, this could be good. That's way better. Anyways, this idea is like, MCC, or they say like MCC is far overdue for some changes, slightly entitled, but you are right to an extent, but you can't expect them to do that much because the amount of workload that requires is insane. New games and new players are very important in keeping MCC relevant. That is true. Yet again, you can't expect them to do that much because that takes a lot of workload. New players you could, on paper, probably do a lot of, but in reality, that wouldn't go well. We've already discussed this in the past, that MCC's roster is so cohesive that adding a bunch of new people to it doesn't really work. The only way you could do that is if you add a really big portion of people. Well, actually, you can't. No, that doesn't even work either because if you add a lot of new people, a lot of the OGs don't get to play anymore. And guess what that results in? Drama, complaints, and you don't want that. MCC's already had to deal with that for ages. Look at the Drew Mississippi audience. Like, that wasn't that fun to deal with, was it? Anyways, the suggestion that they make is that MCC should have a game like Block Wars Party or PB Gauntlet, essentially just a game that has a couple of variety mini games in it that can be like, fun to play. They suggest 5 rounds where it's 2 PvP-ish games, 2 parkour-ish games, and 1 team-ish game. So let me explain to you why this won't happen. Unless they are already working on it, they wouldn't do it right now. So having 5 unique, quote-unquote original, depending on how you want to approach it, mini games in one game is a lot of workload and effort for one game. You have to make 5 games for one game. You know how much work that is? Look, Block Wars wasn't that bad. It's still, some of the mini games in Block Wars were talked about, not by the staff, but by some people, like players, etc., to be able to be like full games. That they're of the opinion that these games are good enough to be a full experience. I don't necessarily agree, really. I've looked into one of them at least to try before, and it won't happen. But like, those games still take quite a lot of time to make. You could realistically make a game like Blitz Hunt, which is just a full game, in the time it takes to make one little party game like Splat. I don't know. Like, it's not comparable. Okay, those two are comparable, but like, imagine having to make Blitz Hunt 5 times just for one game. That would suck. So yeah, I don't think MCC is going to do that. It's just too much workload. And then before I go over 10 minutes again, because I would rather not, this is someone who actually is being smart. This is a reality check and not like entitled. This is actually the opposite. This is realistic. They talk about like how a lot of MCC predictions have really big, or not really big, really good creators like Feinberg, Kirby, Greninja, X Shadow, etc. right in it, with the expectation that those people will be added. And yeah, they say like, the people seem so fixed on the fact that these people will join, but I generally think that this won't happen for a very long time. So if we're all too good at Minecraft to be in MCC, I think Noxer will try to refrain from adding people who will do too well in every event they're in. I think that it's just me, but when people put these guys in their team predictions, it annoys me so much. I partially agree. Some things to note. Noxer doesn't pick the players, so, whatever. Too good at Minecraft to be in MCC, I don't think that's a thing, because you have, like, Purpled. He's pretty good. You could argue that maybe Feinberg would be too good, but then again, having Feinberg in MCC, if there's a way to balance him out, it would be completely fine. Yeah, he would get like top 5 guaranteed every event, maybe even top 3, depending on the amount of games that are in and etc. whatever. But Yeah, I do agree with this post, at least to an extent. A lot of people really like putting some really good players in their predictions, expecting them to like be a newcomer, whether that is the upcoming event or like an event later or maybe a couple events later. And it's just not gonna happen. Look, I'm gonna keep it real. This year, I think there's probably 2 good players at most that will be added. I don't know if I'm not going to say like specific people that I know will get added because I don't know that. I personally would expect Curryway and Radoons to be the picks, but I don't know if that is the case. It could be me, it could be Feinberg, it could be Camman or whoever, right? There's a variety of people it could be. I think it'll only be like 2 max though, just because I tried making predictions, and I'll make my MCC 36 like updated predictions. I'll probably make a couple different ones. I made my predictions trying to fit in both Curryway and Radoons, and it resulted in, I don't know which like top player it was, but there was like a good like recurring MCC player who just couldn't be in anymore. Like that just didn't fit. I think it was Sapnap. I had no room for Sapnap. Like that's not good. I know some people would be like, oh, finally Sapnap benched, or oh, finally this other person benched. But like, you don't want that. You don't want to run into the issue where you have to bench someone just because like you just have too many people to put in. And that's something Blockwars has already dealt with, and I wouldn't really wish that upon Scott to deal with because it's not fun. And I think especially for MCC, people would get a little bit more annoyed by not getting to play because MCC is like the Minecraft event, right? So I think it'll be max like 1 or 2, max 2, maybe 3 if you include like, actually I don't even know what you could include, but like I don't think for canon MCCs it'll be more than 2. Yeah, you might see like a Feinberg appear in a Rising, or you might see whoever appear in like a Pride or whatnot, but I think it'll be like max 2 for canon MCCs, and my picks are Curryway and Radoons. But who knows? Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe they will add more. Maybe they'll add less. I think if it was up to Scott, he would pick. I mean, it is up to Scott. But if there was no like hype or like fan demand in play, Scott probably wouldn't add any more really good players. I think the only reason that he would really want to add more really good players is because that's what the audience would like to see, right? Anyways, that is the video. 12 minutes is better than what I had before, so thank you for watching, and hopefully you understand my rant, and hopefully this explains a little bit more. I might make another video if there's more things to talk about, but thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.